Hi everyone, it's me. Today is 12:03 p.m. And it is October 20th, 2025. I just lost this content, so we're doing it all over again right away. Hooray! So today we're going to be I hope you're well. Today we're going to be talking about the connections between Tartaria, Sailor Moon, the Ice Wall, okay, and the Celestial Kingdom and all of that. So I know that might be a little bit confusing, but I saw something yesterday that surprised me, and I found a few other things. I'm going to do a deep dive on Sailor Moon eventually, but we're just going to cover these few things along with a little video about the Tartarian Knights and how it connects to Star Wars. Okay, so we're just going to get into it. I'm going to read this overview of what happened to the Moon Kingdom. Salem's over there playing with the package that I received today. So, it says there once was a glorious celestial kingdom. Think about like a kingdom that used the aether. In the solar system, with thriving societies on the moon and all other planets. Queen Serenity, immortal and powerful, ruled over this society in what was called the Silver Millennium. She yielded the royal gem of the moon, the mystical silver crystal. The term doesn't translate properly from Japanese to English. Sometimes they call it the imperial silver crystal in the English version, which would be like a royal gem. But the princesses of Venus, Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter were charged with being guardians of the moon princess, also named Serenity. The princesses of Neptune and Uranus were charged with guarding the solar system from external threats. The princess of Pluto was charged with guarding the door to time, which is a gateway, but it's also the time to space and time, which is the fourth dimension. The princess of Saturn, representing the powers of destruction, was set to only awaken at the appointed time of her need. So, Queen Serenity's daughter, the Princess Serenity, was set to wed an earthly prince, Endymion, who despite his royal standing was not immortal or powerful, like the various celestial beings of the Silver Millennium. So I'm going to stop reading for a moment and explain to you that these were higher dimensionals on the moon and such, yes? They were beings of the outer space, so space is beyond the wall. I know, this might be a lot. And what happened so Princess Serenity loved the earth. She was always watching earth, admiring the earth, and like how we look at the moon and how beautiful it is. Well, she was looking at the earth, and she loved to go and visit the earth, and go in like incognito and hide. Like she wouldn't just go in. It's probably because they can go in the unseen format or whatever. So she finds this prince and falls in love with him from afar and eventually reveals herself, and they both fall in love with each other. Okay? And so that's how the two kingdoms become united, or the uniting of heaven and earth. There's a lot of symbolic stuff in Sailor Moon. There's one thing people need to know is that Naoko Takeuchi, the creator of Sailor Moon, was only 20 years old when she did this, and I have done some research into her. The show Sailor Moon may have had more influence, when it came on to TV, but I truly believe that she channeled this from source. It was a way of interpreting information into story format, like many other creators have done, including Claudio Nocelli, okay? And it does connect to his work, especially the Elysium, which is on his map. Okay, so Endymion, who despite his royal standing was not immortal or powerful like the various celestial beings of the Silver Millennium. Now, if you remember the ages in Hinduism, there's a golden age, but there's also a silver age. Okay? Right. Sorry. So, Endymion's court sorceress, Beryl, grew jealous as she lusted after the prince. Seeking power and vengeance, Beryl made a pact with the wicked being Empress Metalia for increased power. She's almost like symbolic, the adversary, the devil, something that wants to destroy something that's beautiful and good, that's something that they'll never have or be. So she makes this pact for increased power. She convinced the four guardians of Endymion to betray him with her powers and to lead an army of humans against the moon, convincing them that the Moon Kingdom have had I don't know what this word is, but it basically means enchanted, like took over their prince and stole him. So she rallied them to a cause that wasn't even true or real, but only because she wanted him. The battle was fierce, and while Queen Serenity was able to banish Beryl, Metalia, and the four generals away, the Silver Millennium had fallen. She used the last of her energy, focused through the silver crystal, to reincarnate her passed-on daughter and earthly lover, and the other princesses, and as well as the people of the Moon Kingdom, that era, onto Earth, okay? So she reincarnates them into another era, which happens to be on Earth, in hopes of a less tragic future. So it says past there, but it means, I'm sure they meant future, right? Because she even says that in the English version. She's like, I'm not going to let them take away your future, she says, and she uses the crystal. I have a few other videos as an example. So then it says, so the sailors Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus, which are the outer planets of the solar system, okay, they arrived too late to help. Their arrival summoned sailor Saturn, who leveled the ruins of the once proud kingdom. Before the four of them were also reincarnated and set to a future time in late 20th century Tokyo, an era where Beryl would also awaken and begin a second attempt at getting the silver crystal, the weapon which defeated her in the past, as well as Endymion. Now, there's some details from the manga that they left out here in the story. It's also left out in the English version, okay? The detail is that during the battle, I can't remember if it's Queen Beryl or Beryl herself, because she does become queen of this army. But somebody takes out Endymion, the prince, and he passes away. When Princess Serenity, the younger daughter of Queen Serenity, okay, I know it's a little bit confusing, but the name passes on because Queen Serenity represents the divine feminine. And in the celestial kingdom, like I told you, in the spiritual realms, it's a matriarchy, as here in the physical world is a patriarchy, okay? So, I just lost my train of thought. Right. So when she finds her prince, Princess Serenity, as a young girl, a young princess, finds her love that she's set to wed, and he's passed on, she ends her own story early. It's very tragic, okay? So they do not show this in the English version, again, but they do show this in Sailor Moon Crystal, which is the updated, newer version of Sailor Moon, which has been released, which is a lot closer to the manga, which was the original. Okay? So let us watch the very beginning of what I saw when I was a little kid. This would have been my introduction to the Moon Kingdom.
A 1,000 years ago, our moon was home to a great civilization ruled by Queen Serenity. Everything was peaceful until the arrival of the evil Queen Beryl.
First the moon shall be mine, then the universe!
To conquer the moon, Queen Beryl unleashed the awesome power of the Negaforce. Although her world was destroyed, Queen Serenity's last hope was the power of the Empyrean Silver Crystal and the Crescent Moon Wand.
Only this crystal and wand can combat the power of the Negaforce. Never let our enemies get them, or the universe is doomed. But most of all, you must protect our dear Princess Serena. Understand?
Yes. Frozen in moonbeam crystals, the Queen sent the princess and the children of the moon to the future on Earth. Their memories lost to them all. The Queen's cat advises Luna and Artemis must find the princess so she will at last be safe. And so our story begins.
Okay. So now we're going to switch over here. If you remember, we looked at one of these fellas' videos before. Okay, I saw this yesterday. So this is VIZZGITT. Go and subscribe to his channel. He has a bunch of little series where he does some strange videos and different series that I watch sometimes. Okay, and this is where I find things like this, and these little hints help me make connections and put things together, how everything truly is connected, and how they've been trying to wake us, I think, for quite a long time. Now, this fellow we're about to watch on TikTok is called the_13 the Elohim. Okay? So let's just watch this. This is comparing, again, Star Wars with Tartaria. But if you saw the buildings in Sailor Moon, which we're going to watch again, the dancing and everything, it's quite nice how they represent the Moon Kingdom and the Silver Millennium. But the buildings on Sailor Moon are the same with Tartaria. These gigantic, large style, fancy buildings. Okay, with the dress, the Victorian style, fancy dressing. You'll see the party and stuff like that. So we're going to watch this from this fella's video because there's actually 3 little clips from this one video that are all connected, that have to do with the same thing, and it connects us to the ice wall. So let's just begin.
I'm going to try and package this as well as I can. Basically, I'm going to tie the Tartarian Empire into Star Wars, into the killing of the Empress, into the killing of a real Empress in real life, into the Pope, into the Sith. We're going to connect it all, and we're going to connect that along with the Knights, because we weren't watching and we weren't paying attention, because we didn't understand the roles everybody was playing, okay? Look in the background. See that building? It's a Tartarian building, because they're representing the Tartarian Empire, which the Lord Sith is trying to get rid of and take out. These are Tartarian Knights. Do you understand? These are the good knights. You see, the Tartarians had their defenders, but their defenders were pure, good. They weren't built for attacking. They had a code. Then you had knights that worked for the Sith, that literally trained. They trained to use the ether to take down the Tartarian Empire. Do you understand? So they trained using their tech. These are their knights. Do you understand? This is what's going on in Star Wars. This knight right here is the same as this knight right here. And his allegiance is to this guy, or this guy, or that guy. Do y'all see the point that I'm trying to make here? Basically, this is what you're watching in Star Wars. Because his goons, the reptilians, they're responsible for conspiring against the Tartars and their entire empire and using their technology to take them down. And that's what their knights were for. They were good knights. They were good knights that stood for the empire. They stood for good. Jedi Knight, what it means. The Jedi members, known as Jedi Knights, respect all life by defending and protecting those who cannot do it for themselves, striving for peaceful and non-combative solutions. Non-combative solutions to any altercations they encounter, and fighting only in self-defense and for the defense of those they protect. That is the code of a Jedi Knight. When they called them Jedi Knights, we didn't understand what they stood for and what they were protecting. They were protectors of the Tartarian Empire. They were protectors of Tartary, users of the ether, protectors of the realm, a one-world civilization that only used ether, the prime mover of the universe, as a force. That's what the force was. Everybody looked around and nobody was, oh, the force. What do you think the force was? The force was the ether. What do you think that is? This is concentrated ether, which is nothing but plasma. These individuals were the individuals that were loyal to her. And who did they want to kill? Her. These dark individuals wanted to take out her. In our world, she is her. Queen Jenipil, the last queen of Mongolia. She was executed in May 1938, shot by Russian troops as part of a repression and blah, blah, blah. No. This was by orders of the Pope. Why? Because he controls everything in this realm and only he can make that order. You understand? Take a very close look at her. Let me get you a closer look. Look at her face. Look at her cheekbones. Look at those two dots. They look familiar? No? Wait 1 second. What about now? Or now? Do you see what's going on now? Do you see how they've been playing in our face? Each trilogy focused on a generation of the Force-sensitive Skywalker family. Let's just call it the ether-based Tartarian Empire and their struggle, our struggle, against the evil Sith Lord Pope Palpatine, Darth Sidious, a Jedi, fight against Palpatine's galactic empire, just a Catholic church, alongside his sister Leia. Look, Palpatine, Papa. What does this say right here? Yes, the Pope is papal, because the term papal means relating to the Pope or the Roman Catholic Church. The Pope is the Bishop of Rome and has authority over the entire church, which is known as papal primacy. Jurisdiction over the church in matters of faith, morals, church, discipline, and... Do you understand now? They put it right there in front of you. The Pope is papal. Fight against Palpatine Galactic Empire. And I ain't the only one that is seeing this. Take a look. What did y'all really think was going on? Was y'all not putting this together? I tell y'all, they have to put it through the looking glass. Ain't nothing for entertainment. And then look at all the Tartarian structures they put right in your face. They put all these Tartarian structures right there on Star Wars. Look at that. And you know how I know they playing? Look at the tops of them, y'all. What's that made out of? Copper. Copper. To harness ether. Like every one of the... like all their buildings. All their buildings have domes and antennas on top. Just like that. They were just playing in your face, but you didn't see it. Because you didn't have the eyes to see it and understand it. Look at that. Yeah. What is that? What is that? Basically a Tartarian castle. Ain't no difference in this or this. They just put it right in front of you. You just missed it. The whole entire time, the Jedi Knight's job was just to protect the Tartarian Empire from the dark Sith Pope. And as you can see, they had a motherfucking queen in Star Wars they were trying to execute, and a queen in our realm that they executed. And they are one and the same.
It's almost kind of like a psychedelic. If you take pollen and you put it in...
Okay, so there's a repeating message, and even in Star Wars, the Jedis were few. And I truly believe that they're recruiting as many knights as possible now to retake the realm. Do you understand? It's an underlying message that goes out throughout, you know? But, okay, so give me a moment. I don't want to lose my content again, but I want to find that one video where Queen Serenity tells Princess Serenity that she was reincarnated and reborn on Earth. Okay, hold on.